What is a mind trick you know of? You know that awkward moment when you and a stranger are walking towards each other but need to get past each other and you get confused and end up doing a left to right dance? Not for me. When I walk through large crowds of people, to avoid walking into anyone, I simply stare at my destination. I look no one in the eyes. People actually will watch your eyes and they avoid the direction you are going. If I look into people's eyes as we are walking into each other, we are sure to collide. You have to let people know where you intend to go with your eyes. It always works for me. Try it. If you're trying to find something, try looking right to left as opposed to left to NGHT. Your eyes tend to skim over things if you search in the direction you are used to reading in, so skim the opposite way. It takes me a bit more effort to do this, but I notice more details. My favorite works best in sports. It's more of a way to get into other people's mind and screw them up. Say you're playing against a guy, girl who is just on fire. Completely in the zone and dominating. Casually ask, hey, why did you change to X better? Or something to that effect. I've done it in volleyball where I ask a guy who's been hitting amazing, I've never seen you jump so high before, why did you change? More often than not it throws them off their game. Done it in hockey too. Hey, your shot looks amazing, what foot are you leading with? I'm a paramedic. When a patient is possibly faking unconsciousness, we have two tricks to determine if they're really unconscious or not. First, you can lightly brush their eyelashes with your finger. Their eyes will flutter if they're faking it. Alternatively, if they're on their back, you can lift their arm over their face and let it go. A conscious person will drop their arm away from their face. Finally, a trick to see if someone is faking a neck injury or neck pain. Put a thermometer in their mouth while checking their vitals, then ask them a yes or no question while looking them in the eyes. If you aren't looking directly at them, they tend to answer with a strained but if you're looking directly at them, they will usually nod their head. Someone who is faking the pain can do this with ease. And yes, there are a lot of calls where people fake pain, illness, etc. for various reasons. There's something in sales called the Sullivan nod. Basically, when you're asking someone something, nod up and down while you're asking. Their mirror neurons start firing and they begin nodding and agreeing with you subconsciously. 60% of the time it works every time. The door in the face technique. The general idea is that you ask someone for a huge favor which you're relatively confident they'll say no to. Then you ask them for a small favor. Subjects who initially refuse the huge favor have a much higher compliance rate on the small favor than if you just ask directly for the small favor or if you present both at once. If they end up saying yes to the huge favor, that's also good. When trying to get away with something sketchy, not illegal per se, but frowned upon, walk into the place like you own it. Don't glance around, don't even stop for a second or look confused. 9 times out of 10 nobody will question you. You can get away with lots of things that way. Give a ward share report, save and be a white person. That works best. Okay, so here's one my father taught me years ago when I was just a small child. It's not a mind trick so much, as it is an illusion. Then again, an illusion is just tricking your mind, so I think it counts. So I use the knuckles on my pointer finger and middle and wrap them around someone's nose. Then I pull back, while I covertly slip my thumb between my 2 knuckles. I then proclaim, got your nose. Most people stand in shock, until I reveal that I haven't actually removed their nose. It's a useful trick for picking up women as well as entertaining at parties. If you're in a crowded social group, restaurant, bar, party, etc., and you want to know if someone is checking you out, try this. Turn sideways from them. They will be either 90 degrees right or left of you, then very obviously, look at your watch, even if you don't wear one. Lift your wrist, then point at your watch and nod thoughtfully. Overacting is perfectly acceptable. If they are keeping tabs on you, even peripherally, they will have a sudden urge to know the time and will either look at their own watch, cell phone, or casually look at the various obvious places where someone would put a clock. Edit, so yawning seems to be another method. However, do you think the world's most interesting man would more likely be seen yawning or looking at his watch in a social setting? Go up to someone in a restaurant and tell them to close their eyes and picture a playing card. While they are doing this, eat as much of their food as you can and run away. This is probably silly, but you know that thing where if you repeat a word enough it loses its meaning? Well, I've convinced myself that there is some kind of similar thing going on with pain. If I'm in pain, if I focus 100% on the pain, and block out everything else, the pain kind of loses its meaning. I still feel it, but it's no longer pain, it's just what is. I think this one is pretty well known by now, but when high-fiving, look at their elbow and you'll never miss.